Hey, Kyle here with whenthehouseyoulove.com. Your monthly payment is one of the most important things when you are shopping for a home because you need to know that you can actually afford to buy the home. Not only do you have upfront costs, but you also have the monthly cost of your payment plus utilities and any other maintenance costs you're going to have with the home. And I keep seeing this issue that people have when it comes to Zillow is they're searching for a home. And so maybe you land across this home and you're like, oh, this looks great. I think it's in our price range. And you look at this estimated monthly payment where it says $3,203 is what Zillow is suggesting as a monthly payment on this home. And at first glance, most people are like, cool, it's going to cost me $3,200 to buy this home. I can absolutely do that. But the problem is Zillow isn't showing you a monthly payment that is likely going to be your scenario. So what we then have to do is we have to scroll down here and we're going to come to the monthly cost section here. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've talked with a client and they've seen this number and then they go and look at the home, they write an offer, and then they go and talk to a lender, find out the monthly cost is actually going to be quite a bit more than this. And then they already are committed into this home. And a lot of people, instead of saying, you know what, we took on too much, we're going to back out of this, they continue to move forward with the deal with a payment they're uncomfortable with. This mentality is what a lot of people would call being house poor. We don't want that. So this is why this number isn't super accurate. So 3203. First of all, if we drop open this principal and interest, we can see immediately that Zillow is estimating we're going to put 20% down. Most people are not putting 20% down. The minimum for first-time homebuyers is 3% on a conventional loan. However, a lot of people use 5 to 10%. So in this instance, let's just say 5%. Well, already that jumped our monthly payment up to $3,900 instead of $3,200. So this can price out a lot of people very quickly, especially with how competitive everything is. People are looking near the higher end of their price ranges. And so if $3,200 a month was already at the high end of your price range, you absolutely don't want your payment to come back being $3,900. Okay. Then also for interest rates, Zillow wants to basically show you their mortgage lender options, which is fine, but they're showing you kind of the lowest rate that is likely on their site, which may not be the most realistic number. And so I have a webpage that you can go to whenthehouseyoulove.com/rates. And what it will do is it puts together the national averages for different types of loans. So you can see those if you'd like to. Your situation may be different than this, but this might be a more realistic figure to run off of than just kind of an advertised rate here. So let's say we bring this to 3.5. Then for mortgage insurance, we do want to include the mortgage insurance. That's why the cost jumped up so much from the 20% down. And if you're interested, I do have a video about how PMI can be used as an investment. It's not just this terrible cost that happens all the time. We unfortunately can't change this number, but I do have a calculator that can help you here in a second. Property taxes, I will give credit to Zillow. They usually do a really good job with property taxes. In the description, I do have a link to this property tax map that's going to show you the rates for property taxes in different states. May change depending on which county you're in your state, but these are going to be good averages for you to run off of. And then homeowners insurance here, usually fairly decent estimate. Again, I do have a map for average rates in the US. This is going to depend a lot on where you're at. So if you're for instance, Florida is going to have a lot higher homeowners insurance than we would here in Ohio because there are hurricanes there and no hurricanes yet have come to Ohio. So we have that in there. And then usually Zillow does a good job with HOA fees. And of course, they're not including utilities. They just show you the mortgage payment. So overall, not terrible. And what they're doing is not on purpose necessarily to try to, they're not showing you something that's not unrealistic, but they're showing something that's not typical for most people. And so I have a monthly payment calculator that might help you get a better idea. The link is in the description. This is free. All we do in the beginning is we put in our loan details. So we're going to do 5%. We're going to do 3.5 5% is our interest rate. For mortgage insurance, we can change these a little bit. So conventional with good credit, conventional with fair credit, FHA, VA, and USDA. We're going to go with conventional with good credit, which uses 0.65% of the loan amount as mortgage insurance, which is going to be a really good typical average for you. For homeowners insurance, I've found that 60 is a really good estimate here. If you're in maybe somewhere like Florida, you might bump this up to 80. And so what that is, that's 0.6% of the purchase price as homeowners insurance, and then how long the loan term is. And so what you can do is put in 572,500. We'll come up here, 572,500. We'll put in the square footage. And so that is 3,750. Okay. Then monthly HOA, there was none in there. Then we'll look at our annual taxes here. So taxes in Ohio are high, 13,200. Utility cost per square foot. This is what the VA uses as their rough estimate for utilities. This might be a really good one for you. If it's an older home, you might want to bump this up to somewhere like 14 to 16 cents per square foot. If it's energy efficient home, you might want to drop it down to 10 cents a square foot. And then maintenance savings. This would be how much are we going to put into savings every month for the maintenance of the home. And so a lot of homeowners don't, or new homeowners don't think that they need something like this. But this is really good to have monthly savings. So when something needs to be fixed, even if it's hardware updates, if it's paint, if it is a furnace goes out, you want to have that savings set aside. So how much of the purchase price per year are you going to be saving? A lot of people would suggest 1%. That may be a little high. 0.5% for me feels comfortable. And so here it would break down your mortgage payment with much more realistic numbers. So we can see we're pushing 4,100 compared to the initial 3,200 that was advertised on Zillow. But this is a much more realistic estimate that we can look at instead of looking at the low rate that was super interesting and then moving forward with it, and then finding out the monthly payment's much higher. And then what this also does is take in what you put in for utilities and monthly savings and gives you an estimate potentially of what you might pay. So if you're looking at this and you're saying, oh, this actually seems high, we can actually drop this down if you'd like to, depending on your area and what you believe might be more accurate. So then that shows you what the mortgage payment would be plus potential other costs. And then that would show you your total monthly payment here. And you can do this when shopping with multiple homes. So if I was looking at this home, I would put in 236 Rubicon, 236 Rubicon. Cool. So 236 Rubicon. And then you can also put in other homes as well to help you get a better idea of what this monthly payment is going to be. Please do not be the person that just sees, oh, $3,200 a month. That sounds great. That is not tailored to your scenario and your situation, and your payment will be different, most likely, than what is shown on Zillow. And I don't want you to get emotionally invested into a home and get excited and write a contract on it if that's not going to be what the payment actually is. One of the best ways to get the monthly payment is using a calculator like the one in the description, and also talking to a loan officer who can give you a full quote and a breakdown. So if you're interested in talking with a helpful loan officer who can walk you through the process, who operates the same way that I do and can give you a breakdown of what your rate's going to be, your monthly payment's going to be, and estimate all of those other costs with you to help you get a better understanding of your budget and the upfront cost of the home, you can go to winthehouseyoulove.com/referral or choose the link in the description.